tonight about this video appearing to show Border Patrol agents confronting refugees aggressively on the Rio Grande.
I don't think anyone seeing that footage would think it was acceptable or appropriate.
The conditions under the International Bridge in Del Rio, Texas, a border town 150 miles west of San Antonio, also raising eyebrows.
Reporting and shocking images and video from Al Jazeera shows that Border Patrol's abusive treatment toward Haitians continues at the southern border. Now, thousands of them have come to the border in recent weeks seeking asylum in the United States, but the Biden administration continues to conduct mass deportations without giving asylum seekers a fair hearing or even a shot to apply for asylum. I'll get to those details in just a second, but it is important to see the type of treatment asylum seekers are dealing with at the border at the hands of Border Patrol agents on horseback. This is a look at the Al Jazeera piece that I was speaking about.
This is how one US Border Patrol officer received Haitian migrants crossing the Rio Grande, coming back with food to a camp they've set up in Texas.
Hey, you use your women? Because it's why your country because you use your women for this. You go, no, that way. Hey, no,
We've got our families inside, dying of hunger. We've had to go out to buy food.
You can see the tense scenes here. The Border Patrol are trying to stop people getting back into the camp after they went across to Mexico to get food, they say, because there isn't enough food for them actually there in the camp. There's more than 12,000 migrants, mostly Haitians, in the camp that sprung up in Del Rio, Texas, over the last 2 weeks.
And despite the video that you just watched, despite the horrible treatment that these Haitian migrants are dealing with at the border, the Biden administration is following through with its mass deportations. The Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas says that there will be an investigation into the treatment of Haitian migrants at the border. I'll get to his statement in just a second, but before I do so, Cenk, do you want to jump in?
Yeah, so some of the still pictures look like they're using the reins either to corral the immigrants or even whip the immigrants. And so when you see Americans on horseback whipping or corralling, honestly, black folks, it's
sick.
Very, very disturbing images, and something that we thought we had at least hoped that we were past. And it's interesting that that comes out when it's black immigrants. I mean, we were treating brown immigrants bad enough. But the minute you see black immigrants at the border, here we are back again at similar images that we've seen in American history far, far too often. And so the Biden administration keeps talking about, no, we've got this great culture and this is unacceptable to us and our great people at the border would never do that. Well, number one, they did. Number two, what do you mean you have and they're great? They're the same guys that were under Trump. It's not like you fired all the border agents and hired all new ones.
No,
they're the same exact guys. And you think in under a year since you've come in, they've all become bleeding heart progressives?
No.
No, they're the same guys.
It's the same policies as well. Look, we give Biden credit when credit is due, or where credit is due. This is not a situation in which credit is due, because not only are the same people employed carrying out this type of brutality against asylum seekers, the same policies are being implemented by the Biden administration in regard to immigration. So when we talk about Biden and how he campaigned against Donald Trump, he really wanted to differentiate himself as being like this kind person, this person who would be a kind leader, who would treat migrants at the border in a humane way. He made it seem like he would be incredibly different from Donald Trump, especially on the issue of immigration, and that has not been the case. It has not been the case. Despite what Republicans would have you believe, Biden is carrying out the same policies that we saw during the Trump administration. I'll get to those specific examples in just a second. But before I do so, the Homeland Security Secretary, Mayorkas, as I mentioned earlier, says this is unacceptable. We're launching an investigation into this. Here he is speaking to CNN about the videos and images that have gone viral of the treatment of Haitian migrants at the border.
You've seen this video, you are investigating. But is there any reason why border agents would be charging at migrants in such a way that you are seeing children ducking out of the way?
Good morning, thank you very much for having me. Any mistreatment or abuse of a migrant is unacceptable, is against Border Patrol policy, training, and our department's values. Indeed, we have directed an investigation. That investigation is underway and it will be conducted swiftly, and the public needs and deserves to know its results. I also have directed that the Office of Professional Responsibility be on site in Del Rio full time. We will not tolerate any mistreatment of an individual.
So abuse and mistreatment not tolerated, is that abuse or mistreatment where you see children ducking out of the way, horses charging migrants, reins being used?
We are very troubled by what we have seen. We are going to let the investigation unfold very, very quickly, determine the facts, and then we will take the action that is appropriate based on those facts. The facts will drive the conduct that we employ to hold anyone accountable for a violation of our policies.
So look, I show you that statement to be fair and give you their side, the Biden administration side of the story, but that was BS. It was just complete BS. This unwillingness to accept the fact that the United States utilizes brutality at the border, turns away asylum seekers, no questions asked, no hearing, no day in front of a judge, and that's exactly what Trump implemented. He claimed, look, it's a pandemic, so as a result, we're shutting down the border, we're not accepting any asylum seekers. But understand that the United States has a responsibility, especially to migrants coming from countries that were essentially messed with by our government. I mean, there was a 19-year US occupation in Haiti due to business interests in the United States. Okay, the United States didn't like that Germany was doing some business with Haiti at the time, and they decided, no, you know what? We're gonna do an occupation. We're gonna, Woodrow Wilson decided that he was gonna go ahead and invade the country, and the ramifications of that have been long lasting. And the United States continues to just completely, control that country. It just suffered another massive earthquake. It just suffered from its president getting assassinated. I mean, it's a situation that's incredibly unstable for people living there, but hey, we don't have any responsibility to them. In fact, why don't we meet them with brutality at our border as they're seeking asylum in the United States?
So look, I don't know if we'll ever have a real media in America, but if we did, you would all already know how we've brutalized Central America, Haiti, and all of these other countries for the profits of our corporations, not even the American citizens. I mean, it's one thing when you steal their resources for your own citizens, that's already terrible enough. But we didn't even do that. We did it for only the elites, for the corporations. The reason they're called banana republics in Central America is because we did a coup in order to get prices that were lower on bananas. They said, hey, it's our natural resources, our bananas, and we want to sell it to you for a couple of pennies more. And we killed people and replaced their government because of that. And by the way, in the meanwhile, destroyed their economies. So now that's coming back on us as immigrants say, well, in tough times, these economies are in tatters, and we're trying to find a hopeful place like America where you guys are doing better economically. And now we say, oh, it's your fault, and then we start swinging, reins at him. Again, that guy looked like he was either trying to intimidate them or actually maybe hit them and whip them. And so now, when you look at Biden politically, this is an epic debacle. Why? Because he's not gaining support from either side.
No.
So he's continuing Trump's brutal policies, and it's not an accident that you're seeing those pictures and those images from the border because he never told them to stand down. I don't mean stand down as in let everybody in. I mean stand down as in, oh, you're not supposed to brutalize the folks that are migrants anymore. because they're used to brutalizing them. And Biden never told them to not brutalize them. So they're doing exactly what they're doing. Biden thinks, oh, that'll help me win over right-wing voters because he's stuck in cement in 1991 in a best case scenario and thinks, oh, bipartisanship and kissing Republican ass will get me more voters. No, it won't. You'll never get a single Republican voter. They're all listening to Fox News and conservative radio that says that you're letting them all in on purpose and you're making them citizens instantly. They're lying about you nonstop, you schmuck.
Yeah, the right wing thinks that Biden isn't being brutal enough to migrants at the border. We have a process in place to process asylum seekers. The Trump administration ended that process and claimed that it did so because of the pandemic, as if the Trump administration ever took the pandemic seriously. And the fact that Biden is continuing with that policy, and the fact that White House officials are repeating the necessity for that policy tells you everything you need to know. They're trying to straddle this issue. They're trying to appeal to both sides, and they're losing both sides because, as Cenk mentioned, conservatives have no interest in giving the Biden administration any credit for anything. And for those on the left who want to treat migrants in a humane way and allow them to go through the asylum process, this is horrific. It's disgusting and it's unacceptable.
And so Iowa's a critical state because of the primaries, but it used to be a swing state. Obama won it several times. And so, and in the beginning of Biden's term in March, he was net positive in Iowa. A poll came out today. It's now 31% approval, 62% disapproval for Joe Biden in Iowa. Okay, oh my God, he lost like nearly 20 points. What happened? Well, this is a phenomenon that's important for you to understand. Mainstream media generally supports corporate Democrats, okay? So that's true, they give an advantage to establishment Democrats over Republicans, okay? But here's a phenomenon in media that nobody talks about. Now, when you have a Republican president, even if mainstream media is against it, which they normally aren't under the Bush era, et cetera, but on Trump they were, well, you get to a stalemate because conservative media backs him 100%, and then mainstream media will say, well, actually that's a lie, et cetera, right? And that's your best case scenario. But under a Democratic president, conservative media is going to criticize the Democratic president, right or wrong, doesn't matter, on every issue 100% of the time. And you're seeing it play out. When mainstream media then also joins in, well, then it makes it appear the Democratic president is deeply unpopular. And so he'll lose 20 points because there's no one to support him. And so how should Biden react to that? Pick a goddamn side. And here's my suggestion, pick your own side.
Yeah.
So you're never gonna get those Republican votes. Any schmuck who tells you that in DC is probably a consultant ripping you off and making tons of money, having you spend ads and all that stuff to try to get Republican voters that are never gonna come over. Instead, do what's right, get rid of the Trump rules, have a real humane policy, push forward on immigration reform, and you might actually win over your own side and not have a 31% approval rating in Iowa because you've lost everyone. Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.